So you know there are various costing methods, and costing methods depend on the nature of your business. Mainly there are two methods of costing. One is called job costing and the second one is process costing. Job costing has three types sub-components: unit costing, batch costing, contract costing. And the second type, which is your process costing, wherein your business is consisting of multiple processes through which the product passes. There is third costing system which is called operating costing, or it is also called as service costing. And in this costing, what we do, we calculate the cost of rendering services. So if you are not dealing in goods but in services, then you follow service costing. And there is one more called operation costing. If you are running into multiple operations and the final product is the result of the assembly of the output of various operations, then it is called as the costing method that is followed is called as operation costing. Today we are going to focus on solving the questions for unit costing and batch costing, which is your lesson number 8. Right, so let me share one screen. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So go to this last question, this one. Now, while you are reading it, okay, first complete the reading. Yeah, so this question is on batch costing. Now, what happens in batch costing? That in a batch, you are producing many units of your final product, and all these units are identical in nature. Correct? Exactly same. Now the question is that what should be the batch size? How many units you should manufacture in a batch? So that is called as economic batch size. So the economic batch size is the one at which your batch setup cost and your inventory holding cost both put together are the least. Ultimately, you are interested in minimizing your cost. So that batch size, which results in minimum setup and inventory holding cost, that batch size is the optimum batch size, which is called as economic batch size. And to calculate that, the formula is similar to the EOQ model of your inventory, right? Economic order quantity. What was that formula? Square root of 2AO upon C, right? Now, here instead of O, you have setup cost, and instead of C, you have inventory holding cost. Correct? Or it can also be called as, the alphabets don't matter. Ultimately, the meaning of those alphabets is important. So if I may just write the formula. On the dashboard, sorry, on the whiteboard. So it is like this. Square root of 2 A, and instead of O it is setup cost, right, divided by your carrying cost per unit per annum. Correct? So A is your annual requirement, S is your setup cost for each batch, which is constant for every batch regardless of the quantity that you manufacture in that batch, and C is your inventory holding cost per unit per annum. Right, so keeping that in mind, now let us come to the question. So let me open the so X Limited is committed to supply 24,000 units of output per annum. That means your annual requirement A is 24,000. So 2 into A, which is 24,000, into setup cost. And what is the setup cost? The setup cost per run of manufacturing the output is rupees 648. So into 648. Correct? So that is your numerator divided by your carrying cost, and it is estimated that it costs rupees 2.40 per unit per annum as inventory holding cost. So 2 rupees 40 paisa is your inventory carrying cost, right? So 2 into 24,000 into 648 divided by 2.40, correct? So the answer is this divided by this, and the square root of this, correct? Entire thing is in square root. So square root of perfect. So this is your economic batch size, these many tons. So at a time when you manufacture the batch, when you set up the batch, how many units of output you should manufacture? The answer is 3,600 units. Now let us, they haven't asked, but let us calculate the cost. So at this economic batch size, what will be my setup cost? And what will be my inventory carrying cost? Now, if your annual requirement is 24,000 units, and at a time you are manufacturing 3,600, that means how many number of batches you will have to undertake in a year? 24,000 divided by 3,600, correct? Let us put that in decimals only just for the purpose of accuracy. So you will undertake 6.67 batches, and you know every batch, for every batch your setup cost is 648 rupees. So this into 648, that will be your annual setup cost. All these are annual costs. Carrying cost now. How will you calculate carrying cost? See, if you are manufacturing 3,600 units at a time, your inventory will not be 3,600, because as you manufacture, you will keep selling also, na? And sometimes it will become zero. Then again you will manufacture 3,600. So your average inventory will be opening plus closing upon 2. So every time you manufacture the batch, you have 3,600. Then gradually it comes to zero. So your closing becomes zero. Again it becomes 3,600, or again it becomes zero. So at any point of time, the average inventory will be 3,600 plus 0 upon 2. So that means your average inventory will be this upon 2. That means on an average, if you are going to have 1,800 units with you throughout the year, what will be the carrying cost? You know, for 1 unit, carrying that in the inventory throughout the year costs you 2 rupees 40 paisa. So for 1,800 units, how much? So this into 2.40, 4,320. you must have learnt in EOQ, your ordering cost and carrying cost both are same. Same principle here also. So your total annual setup cost and carrying cost together will be 8,640, and that will be the least cost combination. At no other quantity of batch size, your cost will be less than or equal to 8,640, and that is why this is the economic batch size. ठीक है? Make sense? I hope it is clear. Now, I have already uploaded this file at the beginning of the session, but anyway, I am showing it on the screen also. So later on, you can download that file at your end. Okay. Now, see, in unit costing, what you do, you manufacture one unit at a time. And in batch costing, what do? You manufacture many identical units at a time in a batch. Both are jobs only. So that is why both are part of your job costing. So I'll give you a few minutes to read this question. Now in unit costing or batch costing, ultimately you have to calculate the cost and the profitability, for which obviously you have to prepare the cost sheet. So from the following information, prepare a cost sheet for the month of December, whatever that year is. Year is anyway not relevant. So for the month of December, we have to prepare the cost sheet for this particular job. Okay. So now you will typically mention the cost sheet for whatever that product or job is. Then period, month, whatever. So December 1989, that you will write here. Correct? Then you will typically write units manufactured and units sold. Right? Whatever is the quantity that you will write here. So now particulars rupees per unit. Now here they have, I think, not given any information about the units. So that is why rupees per unit will be blank. Now in cost sheet, as you know, we always start with the direct cost or the prime cost. Correct? Now your direct cost includes your direct material, direct labor and direct expenses. Now in direct material, what we are supposed to take is the material consumed. And what is the formula for material consumed? Opening stock plus purchases and other incidental expenses like carriage inward or any other duties, etc. on the purchase of the raw material, less closing stock. The balance is your material consumed. And when I say opening stock and closing stock, it is of opening stock of raw material, and this is also of material. Correct? Now let us see how much is the opening stock. Raw material 25,000. This raw material is the closing stock 26,200. Purchases 21,900. And carriage on purchases, that is also incidental expenses 1,100, that will be added in purchases. Perfect. So how much is the material consumed now? Opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock. That will go here. Direct material correct. Then direct labor What is the direct labor cost? Direct wages, 17,200. Direct expenses, if any, these 1,200. So your direct cost 40,200. Now in direct cost, what you will do, add now factory overheads. And what are the factory overheads? $8,300. And these non-productive wages, that means these are your support salaries in the factory, because these are non-productive wages. They are not calling it a salary. So non-productive wages 800 will be part of your indirect labor cost in the factory. So even indirect labor cost in the factory also is factory overheads. So this plus 8,300. 800 plus 8,300. Correct? So that will be your factory overheads. So that gives us gross factory cost, and this is the gross factory cost incurred in that period, in that month, right? But gradually we are interested in calculating so Hisham, 8,300 plus 800 also, na? Non-productive wages also will be part of your factory overheads, right? Yes. So now that is your factory cost incurred in the per period, and that is this plus this. But gradually we are interested in calculating the cost of sales. These are the expenses incurred in the factory in December. Now not necessary that whatever units on which we have incurred the expenses will become finished goods, because at the end of the month something may remain in the WIP also, na? So then that is not finished product, and if that is not finished product, obviously that will not get sold, and hence it should not be part of cost of sales. So that is why now on this gross factory cost, what is the adjustment that we do, if you can tell me? Now in this, what we do is add, yeah, tell me. Yes, the closing WIP will have to be removed, because closing WIP is not yet finished product. But then opening WIP you will have to add, because out of that opening WIP it has become finished product. Correct? So add opening WIP and less closing WIP. And how much is the opening WIP? Work in progress at the beginning of the month, 8,200. And how much is the closing WIP? 9,100. So that means when you started the month, you already had 8,200 worth of WIP with you. On top of that, you added 49,300 to that. So you now had total this much of the work in progress. At the end of the month, you still had 9,100. That means remaining has become finished product. So what is that? This plus opening WIP minus closing WIP. Yes, correct. This is called as works cost. And this works cost is the works cost of units produced, because now WIP we have removed, correct? But this is the cost on the units produced, but this cost is incurred only in the factory because we are still in the factory only. Now outside the factory also we have incurred the cost. So now the first thing that you will add is after this, if you can tell me. After works cost, what do you add? Now we will come out of the factory. No, WIP you have already done that adjustment. How many times you will do? Now outside the factory, the first cost that you incur is called administration overheads. Correct? So what are administration overheads? 3,200. So once you add this and this, now what you get is cost of production. So now remember, this also was a cost of production, but this cost of production was incurred only in the factory. After adding the support costs, what you get is the overall cost of production. That is why we are not using the word factory here or works. This is the overall cost of production. Then what will you do after this? Tell me. No. So now tell me, if you are saying selling and distribution overheads, are you saying that whatever you have produced, you have completely sold that? So then how can you directly add selling and distribution? Because selling and distribution expenses are incurred on the units sold. So now what? Tell me what you will have to do. So now see, if this is what you have produced, now you want to calculate how much you have sold and what is the cost of that. So what you will do? Now whatever finished goods remain at the end of the period, that is not sold, na? So now just like WIP opening and closing, you have to make the adjustment for finished good stock opening and closing. So now you will say opening finished good stock less closing finished good stock. How much is the opening finished good stock? 17,300. How much is the closing finished good stock? 15,700. That means what you are saying is, at the beginning of the month, I already had these many finished goods. Correct? Plus, during the year, I added further 51,600 in my finished goods. That means total how many finished goods I had? These two together. And out of these two together, this much finished goods I still did not sell. That means remaining I sold. So therefore your answer will be this plus this minus this. Correct? Now what is this called? What is the name? Not cost of sale. सो कॉस्ट ऑफ सेल के लिए तुमने सेलिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एक्सपेंसेस कहाँ कंसिडर किया है यहाँ पे? सो हाउ कैन यू कॉल दिस एज कॉस्ट ऑफ सेल्स? So what will be the name? This will be called as correct cost of goods sold. Now on these goods which you have sold, only on these goods you will incur selling and distribution expenses, na? That is why now you will add selling and distribution overheads. And what are the selling and distribution overheads? 4,200. So once you add this to the cost of goods sold, now what you get is have they given the sales value? Yes, sale of finished goods. How much? 72,300. So if this is your sales and this is your cost of sales, the difference between the two is profit. Agreed? So let us see whether, just cross check once again whether we have considered all the items. So raw material stock, finished goods stock, raw material stock, finished goods stock, that is done. Purchase of raw material, carriage inward हो गया. Work in progress, opening closing हो गया. Then sale of finished goods हो गया, direct wages हो गया, non productive wages, factory overheads, direct expenses we have considered. Factory overheads, administration overheads, and selling and distribution overheads is done. Perfect. Are you clear how to prepare cost sheet for any particular job?